There is a little bit of Casemiro Bruno worry ahead of our UEFA Europa League quarterfinal tie at Old Trafford that's going to be played on Thursday, and I think tomorrow I'm going to be coming in through to really drop my predicted starting 11 and the match preview, all the huge match digest about it, because we are really trying to do the needful and obviously find ourselves in a position of not really being knocked out of that tournament. The good thing is that Casemiro is back and Eriksen is back, Anton Martial is back. Looks like we are fired up, and maybe Rafael Varane might be back into the starting 11 of Manchester United. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Evan Ferguson to Manchester United, looking like Erik ten Hag and the entire scouting team of Manchester United have gone ahead to stamp his arrival at Manchester United. Then we are talking a little bit of Eriksen revealing to us for the very first time how it feels like being at Manchester United, and how Erik ten Hag convinced him to come in at Manchester United because he felt like he wanted to really call it quits at Brentford, having signed 6 months. Looks like it was really intentional from him and his agent to just sign 6 months onto his contract, and then he found himself in a position of really going out to a side known as Manchester United. Now, when you go to Evan Ferguson, before you go to Evan Ferguson, allow me to throw into this video, this story of Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. This is the worry I've been talking about, that Bruno Fernandes and Carlos Casemiro will be suspended for the second leg of their UEFA League quarterfinal against Sevilla if they are booked in the opener on Thursday evening. You know, that is really something so much worrying about these two beautiful souls of Manchester United, because, you know, we have been waiting for Casemiro and Eriksen to get back, you know, but no sooner have they returned back to play game of football for Manchester United alongside Bruno Fernandes, because that midfield looked like it was so much untouchable, and they really won very many games and very many midfield battles. Look at what we're having right now. If Casemiro get a yellow card and Bruno Fernandes in the game of Sevilla, then they won't be playing away in Spain. You know, that is really bad for us as Manchester United, because you wouldn't like to go to Sevilla, however much you've gone ahead to really put very many goals past them, without these players. You know, why is it like this? Casemiro got a yellow card in the first game we played against Real Betis at Old Trafford, and if at all he had gotten one in Spain as we played Real Betis again in the return leg, he would have found himself missing out on that game. On this game you're going to be playing on Thursday. Bruno Fernandes got a yellow card in the game we played away at Real Betis, and that's why he's in a position of not playing the second leg away in Spain if at all he finds himself in a position of really attaining a yellow card. So let's keep our hands crossed for these players, because we don't want to lose them on. You know, I want us to go full force. However much there is Eriksen, there is Scott McTominay, there is Sabitzer into that midfield, you can expect them to come in through and with the midfield with Fred. I think would love always to come in and really have the best of your squad that you are having, especially in conditions like this. You know, you wouldn't like to play a game of a game. You wouldn't like to be playing a knockout game when you're not having Casemiro. So it will call for a lot of discipline from Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, and I think they'll overcome it. They'll overcome and they don't get a yellow card. But if all goes bad and one of those gets a yellow card, or both get yellow carded, I think the solution is simple. We should put like 4 goals past Sevilla. Let's kill it off. With a 3-goal difference, there is no way we go to Sevilla and really find ourselves being beaten like 4 goals. You know, apart from the Premier League, that's when we've been performing away from home and conceding very many goals. But when you look at the UEFA Europa League, the only team that's gone ahead to score against us away from home, I think it was Omonia. That's it. But the rest of the teams have gone ahead to really face United. I remember Shelf, we beat them 2-0 away from home. Then which other team did we play? We played Omonia, Shelf, and Rio Sociedad. So Sociedad away, we beat them by 1-0. Barcelona, all right, put 2 past us, I've remembered, in the playoff. Then Rio Betis, we just found ourselves really beating them 1-0. They couldn't really respond. So it shows you that in the UEFA Europa League, we are solid and we don't concede very many goals. And away from home, we've only conceded 4 goals. 2 away at Omonia and then 2 away at Barcelona. That means that if at all we get a 3-goal difference at Old Trafford, then we'll be good to go. We'll be good to go as Manchester United. So I think that's the best way to address that worry, because you can't come out and not you can't come out and not you can't come out and rule out the possibility of these two getting yellow cards. That's it. But I believe if they get yellow cards, let them get this game done and dusted, like we did against Rio Betis, putting 4-1 past them, 3-goal margin. The game was done and dusted. So I think that's what we should go in for as people of Manchester United. We should call in for this game to be done and dusted at Old Trafford. Even if Casemiro is out of the second leg or Bruno Fernandes, or both being out, it will be really nice for us to see to it that we just go ahead and really celebrate our 2 legs being into the semi-final, waiting for the winner between Juventus. Juventus is playing which team? Juventus is playing there is a team Juventus is playing the semi-final. So let's wait and see how that's going to go on and happen. But let's go to Evan Ferguson. Evan Ferguson, 18-year-old player. He has gone ahead to play 12 Premier League games this season. Then he has gone ahead to score 4 goals and 2 assists. Then in the EFL Cup, he played 2 games, scored 1 goal and put up 1 assist, meaning that he has gone ahead to play 14 goals, to play 14 games, and he has 7 goal involvements, meaning that in every 2 games he is assured of really creating or scoring a goal for his team of Brighton. And before De Zerbi came in through, he was not so much in the picture, not until Graham Potter made a decision to cross to Chelsea, and then De Zerbi came in through, and De Zerbi has gone ahead to give him lots of playing time. And Evan Ferguson is really a very good player, and to me, I look at him as Wayne Rooney, because we signed Wayne Rooney at the age of 18, from Everton, and was really firing all cylinders at Everton against even big teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, and so on and so forth. So I think the attitude of Wayne Rooney is really out of this world. And I think the attitude of Evan Ferguson is really out of this world. A little bit of flair. He's a flair player. He has the physicality. He's a good finisher. Aerial presence. He's good on the floor and in the sky. That is the guy known as Evan Ferguson. And today it's known as coming from Simon Jones of the Mail Sport. And it was really so much elaborative of how United are interested in this 18-year-old player. We've been told by Mail Sport, that is Simon Jones, that United want Evan Ferguson this summer, as well as more experienced striker. Brighton are hopeful of agreeing a new contract with boy wonder Evan Ferguson before the end of the month. Despite strong interest from Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur, Evan Ferguson supported United as a boy and idolized Wayne Rooney. So it shows you that dots are connecting for him to be a supporter of Manchester United. I know he loves Manchester United. Before even the story of him idealizing Wayne Rooney came in through, he came out, I think like 3 weeks back, and said he always admired Dan Welbeck at Manchester United and watched him when he was still young. And remember, Dan Welbeck was at Manchester United around, I think around 2010 until 2012. If I'm not mistaken. Then he was sold to Arsenal by Sir Alex Ferguson. So him being an idol, him seeing Wayne Rooney as his idol and maybe admiring Dan Welbeck, that shows you that he has instincts of joining Manchester United. So as it stands, it's Evan Ferguson to Manchester United. Ten Hag has gone ahead to verify this player. To me, I see it as an impossibility that we can sign 2 center forwards. I know he might be liked, but do we have the money to sign Evan Ferguson? That's it. Because when you look at Brighton, if they are to sell Evan Ferguson, they'll get him and put him into the shop window. Firstly, because his contract is expiring in 2026, meaning that he still has 4 years on his contract, meaning that they can call in for like £50 million from this player. Now, Why would you go in for 50 million pounds and then pay 80 million pounds for the world-class striker and bring in 2 centre forwards right now? Yet there are other positions at Manchester United that are really lacking. I admit, I love Evan Ferguson, but if I told Manchester United, I would rather tell the agent of Evan Ferguson that stay at Brighton. Then next season, I think, in the summer of 2024, you'll really be looking forward on leaving this club. That's it. But I don't really advise Evan Ferguson to come into at Manchester United right now. I know I'm a United fan. I would have loved the player, but these are just cameos, you know. Let's give him a full season, because next season I believe De Zerbi is going to keep him into the role of leading the line at Brighton. Is going to be so much important at the club of Brighton. So let's see how he's going to perform next season. Why? Brighton is going to be in Europe, meaning that his experience is going to be really immense and increasing every game out. So that's what makes me believe that we shouldn't go in for Evan Ferguson this time around. Let's get in a world-class striker for 80 million pounds. You know, let's address the Casemiro backup issue. You know, the Varane. Sorry about that. Let's address the Varane backup issue or competitor. Then maybe a backup of Diego Dallo as far as that right forward role is concerned for the club of Manchester United. So to me, I believe that's what we should be doing. That's what we should be doing at Manchester United. We should find ourselves in a position of really getting in one centre forward, because we don't have the money. You know that. If at all, the takeover of United was done by now, all we had hopes that by the beginning of May, United would have been handed over to the new owner. Then I would have been positive that we could go ahead and really sign Evan Ferguson and bring in maybe a Victor Osimhen, or Goncalo Ramos, or Vlahovic, or any other player. But as it stands, let no one lie to you that we can sign like a striker who is world class at 80 million pounds, and then we go in for Evan Ferguson too, because we won't be having the money. After we've been told the Glazers, Erik ten Hag has to sell to buy. So that shows you that if you have to sell to buy, that means you're going to be having limited choices, you know. And Brighton is a hard team. They are negotiating a deal of Arsenal wanted Caicedo in the January transfer window, and they said we are not selling this player. So they kept their stance. So I don't see them trying to sell Evan Ferguson. That's it, because they want to go hard in Europe next season. And that means even if you make a bid, they're not going to accept it, you know. Up to 2026, that's the contract of the boy. The boy still has 3 years on his contract. So how come you can go ahead and really convince the boy, you know? And if I told him the agent of the boy, I don't accept to come to Manchester United because I need to prove myself, you know? Let him go all out. And I would love, by the way, I would love him to stay at Brighton, such that next season we can go all out for him. That's it. Next season, I think, would be in a very proper will be in a proper form, or proper financial position of really getting in players that we've all been waiting in for at the club of Manchester United. And that really leaves us in a situation that most of you might not be agreeing with me, but let me tell you the truth. Even if you aren't agreeing with me, the fact remains a fact that we are not going to get Evan Ferguson. Let no one lie to you. I like him to come at Manchester United, but you're not going to get him. Do you know why? Simple. We don't have the money. We don't have the money to go crazy, you know. If at all you can throw crazy money at Brighton, they can get you that player, because it's going to be a summer transfer window, meaning that they can easily identify a replacement for him. 3 months are really enough for them to really get in a replacement for Evan Ferguson. I know they've already gone ahead to look out for one. So as it stands, however much he wants to come in at Manchester United, I don't see that deal possible. That's it, you know. After Ten Hag getting in a world-class centre forward, I don't find it possible for him to really sign Evan Ferguson again, because he's having Anton Martial there. So let's wait and see how things are going to unfold. And lastly, let's talk about Christian Eriksen and what he has told the media on his signing for Manchester United. He has said, I was free to talk to other clubs due to be out of contract, and I kept my possibilities open. I wanted to see what else came. Of course, United came in at the time. Sorry about it. Sorry about it. At the time, I was not close to any idea of staying at Brentford. Then United came. I spoke to the manager on the phone and I could already see myself at United. My arrival here has been very special. So Eriksen is really a very talented player. And when I saw him coming in through, I felt a little bit sorry for Bruno Fernandes, but Bruno Fernandes went ahead to really defy all the speculations that maybe he was going to be that player that is going to be put out of the team of Erik Ten Hag because of him not being in that position of being able to do what we call the Ten Hag ball. But he has been one of the most important players into the club of Manchester United ever since Erik Ten Hag came in through. And Eriksen, instead of being played as a number 10, he just found himself being played as a number 8 in a role that he had not ever played in his life. Most of the times, Eriksen has been played as a number 10 at Spurs, a number 10 at Inter Milan, a number 10 at Denmark, Brentford, they played him as a number 10. So this man is in a new role and he has gotten and has found himself getting used to the role very, very, very well. So as it stands, it's always about Eriksen feeling very special at Manchester United, and with Erik Ten Hag turning him into a player that he never thought he could become at the age of 30, he is just seeing it as a special treatment at Manchester United. Remember, Eriksen, on his way to recovery after getting that cardiac arrest, he was training with Ajax. By the time Erik Ten Hag was the manager of Ajax, and before he came to Brentford, he trained 6 months with Ajax, and then he came in at Brentford. He signed 6 months and he played 11 games. He scored 2 goals, and then he put in close to 4 or 5 assists. Then Ten Hag told him, come to Manchester United, was welcome to the move, and obviously that is great about Eriksen. So guys, your thoughts on to Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Wari are welcome in the comment section below. Ferguson to Manchester United is another story that is really making rounds all over media outlets. And lastly, Eriksen feeling like he's being treated as a special creature at Manchester United. All that is welcome in the comment section below. I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. My Muslim friends, Ramadan Kareem, and I'm returning back with the remaining story of the day. Me out.